What's up, Bulls Nation? You found yourselves locked on Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. Up ahead on today's episode, lots to get to. First, more bad news for the Bulls and their depleted roster. Ayo Dosunmu in concussion protocols. Then we'll talk about two big trades that went down in the NBA on Tuesday as we get closer to that trade deadline and how they may affect the Bulls. And then we'll wrap things up with a quick look at some NBA power rankings fresh this week. That's all next on a fresh Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome in to Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Follow my co-host, Big Dave Watson, at BAWL Sports. Follow us at Locked On Bulls. Hit us up on that text to voicemail line, 331-979-1369. Today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com and use promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks, it's daily fantasy made easy. All right, Big Dave. Should we get the bad part out of the way? Should we talk about Ayo first? Because I swear to God, man, I am falling apart at the seams. This is the last thing I needed, Dave. Also, hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. To the contrary, I'm doing pretty awesome. Everything's pretty awesome, man. But yeah,
let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Come on with it.
So, this news came to us on Tuesday amidst all of the other trade frenzy going on, which we'll get to in a minute. But the Bulls news Tuesday was Ayo Dosunmu has entered the league's concussion protocols and has been ruled out for their Wednesday game against LaMelo and the Hornets.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, Ayo will be in and out of the league's concussion protocols in a matter of a few days. The interesting thing here, Dave, is that from what we can tell, because he suffered no noticeable injuries or collisions in the game against the Suns on Monday. This happened in their Sunday game against the Sixers. And there were two instances where it looked like Ayo was shaken up. The first of which was the aftermath of his mega awesome dunk on Andre Drummond, where he kind of fell into the stanchion and was down on the court for a while, gathering himself and looked to be shaken up. And then after that, your boy, Matty Legend, knocked heads with Ayo Dosunmu diving on the floor for a loose ball. So one or both of those things have Ayo now in concussion protocols. So you wonder, how did he play 30 whatever minutes the next day against the Suns? Maybe this is one of those delayed effect concussions sometimes where that headache doesn't, come on until a day or two after the incident happens.
It feels like that's what it is, right? Because like you said, there was nothing we saw in that game against Phoenix other than when he had to touch earth when Chris Paul hit him with that crossover. That's the only one time we saw him like near the ground. Outside of that, Matt, everything you said, that was my first thought was when Matt Thomas gave him the Royal Rumble knee to the head and almost took out Embiid at the same time. Like he tried to do double duty on that one, and that's was my first thought of it. But I think if you look at Ayo's stats from that Phoenix game and how he played and how he kind of just wasn't in the game, I believe he had 2 points, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 points and no assist. You know what I mean? Like in 32 minutes, right? He just had 2 points and no assist, and he wasn't engaged, and he just really wasn't out there. He was out there, but he wasn't out there. So maybe he started feeling some of those effects then, you know what I'm saying, when the game was happening, it kind of showcased. And they were like, all right, man, you need to sit down because, he's from here. So, when you get hit on the playground, you get up and you keep playing. No, no blood, no foul. It's really the rule. And as long as you get up and keep playing, you shake everything else off. You know what I'm saying? And you keep it moving and you finish the game. That could be the mentality, but I think it affected him in that Phoenix game to the point where they said, you know what? Have a seat. Just come sit down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to not be mad at Matt Thomas about this, and like I
Come
said,
on, man.
it could partly be because of his fall after that dunk. Like it could have been that
Yeah.
started this
Took a
whole
hard
concussion. And you're right. Ayo did not have a great game against the
Mhm.
Suns. He did not look fully engaged in that game, and it could be that he was playing with a bad headache, and then after the fact, woke up, on Tuesday morning with still a bad headache, and then the Bulls said,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's get this looked at." Yeah. Because I mean, now unfortunately the question is, what do the Bulls do? They're already short-handed as it is. Ayo, his credit, has had far more positive impact than negative impact, taking on a much larger role than the role in which he started this season, and has been a prominent player in the Bulls starting lineup for the last, almost 20 games now?
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. And fortunately, the Bulls got Kobe White back from his groin injury absence from a few games, and he looked okay coming off the bench against Phoenix. So now you assume that Kobe maybe takes a spot in that starting lineup. But, I mean, goodness gracious, that's just he's been averaging 36, 37 minutes a game, Dave.
A lot, man. It's
Which,
a lot.
again, that means you hope that this is a one-game absence just against Charlotte, and he is out of those concussion protocols by the time that, oh, yeah, guess what? You got another back-to-back Friday, Saturday. Jesus. I swear to God, if we have to see more than 35 Matt Thomas minutes, I'm going to kill myself.
I think you might. In the NBA, as far as their protocols with concussions, it's different, than the NFL. I think they stay out a little bit longer in the NBA than they do the NFL. NFL, you go into a tent and they're like, all right, you good, get back out there. You know what I'm saying? The NBA,
Right.
you take a little more time when you're in a concussion protocol. So in my head, he'll be out for the rest of this week. That's just in my head. That's how I think, that he'll be out for the rest of this week, and he'll be back next week. That's just my opinion. It's just an opinion, Matt. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just an opinion, man. I could be completely wrong.
Of course you're right, because that's how this season goes for the Bulls. Oh, is this guy playing well? Better get him injured.
It could be, man. Like I just think it might be that. I really do. And with it being after this game, they have another back-to-back coming up. I think he might just be out for the rest of the week. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping he's back, you know what I'm saying, but at least the second game of that back-to-back and back in the game. And I think it does bode well that he actually played 32 minutes in a nice long length after that game. He came back the next game and played. But in the NBA, again, like I said, concussion and their protocols and how they do things are much, much different than the NFL, and they take a little bit more time in the NBA than they do the NFL.
The really unfortunate part about this, which we mentioned yesterday's episode, is that this next stretch of games the Bulls have between now and that All-Star break is a stretch of very winnable games.
Very winnable.
That are vital for the Bulls to win, to keep pace in this very competitive Eastern Conference standings right now, because then after the All-Star break, the schedule gets really, really challenging. So now these stretch of winnable games pre-All-Star break suddenly become less winnable without Ayo Dosunmu, who has been playing between 35 and 40 minutes a night and doing it really, really well.
He has. And I think what all you can do now is you have to lean on Kobe White. And that's really what you can do. Now, here's my question, Matt. Do you still stick with the Kobe White that we like coming off the bench, being that sixth man, coming in, being that shooter? He did a good job of that against Phoenix. Or do you go with, Matt Thomas in your starting lineup for that reason? Or do you put Kobe White back in the starting lineup and then you putting Matt Thomas off the bench? Because, Matt, no matter how you slice it, Matty Legend's getting in the game. Like, however you want to see it, it's going to happen. So if you want to hear the announcer say, from wherever college he's from and bring him out, or you just want to hear the announcer call him and say he's the first man off the bench.
I'm
However
seriously
it's
holding
happening.
back a gag reflex right now when you're talking about Matt Thomas starting.
Hey, however it
Oh.
happens, man, he's in there. Like he's Pregu, man.
Oh.
It's Ragu. I'm sorry, he's in there, man. He's in there. He's in there, man. He's
Oh
going
my
to
God.
play, and he's going to play significant minutes. And that's going to happen. Is that a good thing? Not for me. In my head, I don't want him to play 30 minutes. And I love me some Matty Legend, but I don't want to see 30 minutes of it. I like to see some spot minutes of it, maybe hit a couple threes and then go sit down. But I'll also be looking at, you can breathe, man. I'll also be looking at guys, like I said last time we did this show, Matt, was guys like Malcolm Hill. I'll be looking at as well, because I think his minutes are going to increase and his minutes are going to step up as well. So yeah, I get better, Ayo. We're gonna need you for sure. But in the meantime, between time, y'all better get on the Matty Legend train, baby, because Matty Legend is about to be out here doing this thing. Sorry, I had to get that out. It's my Ryan Hall, man.
I need some Pepto, man. I need, or you know what? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll just drink some bleach or eat some ivermectin. I don't know, but I am. Oh God.
There's a possibility he can hit 3 or 4 3-pointers. It's a possibility. He can do that. He's a good shooter. He can do that.
All right. I'm at a loss right now. Hey, let's read an ad, shall we? Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. NBA fans, we've been telling you for a while now, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy option that is the best for NBA fans out there. You need to try the award-winning app. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. I love it, and I know you will too. It's super easy to use. You can pick between 2 and 5 players and an over and under on their projections for fantasy points, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry, and it's just you versus those projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. It's safe and offers fast withdrawals. So use the award-winning Prize Picks app on both the App Store and Google Play. Prize Picks offers a variety of options, props on anything you could think of, points scored, rebounds, assists, even steals. And it allows mixed sports entries. So you can take the over on Joey Burrow's Super Bowl fantasy points or passing yards and combine it with Trae Young and how many points he's going to score, because the Hawks are playing on Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of fun opportunities there. And Prize Picks doesn't just offer NBA. They've got options on everything. College basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and much more. For a limited time, Prize Picks has an exclusive no-brainer of an offer for all of our listeners. They get $50 free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single fantasy point, but you must use code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to Locked On Bulls fans. Sign up today and use promo code NBA and get $50 for free if a player in your first Prize Picks entry scores a single point. So don't wait any longer. Head on over and download the app today. Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy.
Yes.
All right, Dave. Big Woj bombs in the NBA on Tuesday.
Kabloom.
It's as if today or yesterday were the trade deadline and not still 2 days from now.
Yeah.
But big moves. Okay, first, let's talk about this one. Blazers. Josh Hart, Tomas Satoransky, Bulls legend, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Didi Luzada, 2022 protected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks. And the Pelicans get CJ McCollum, Larry Nance, and Tony Snell. Another Bulls legend.
Snell, baby! Yo!
So the Blazers here getting a protected first-rounder from New Orleans, kind of recouping the one that they have sent on towards the Bulls.
Yeah.
I don't know if this trade necessarily cements the fact that the Blazers are lottery bound and thus that pick will not translate to the Bulls this season or this upcoming summer, Dave. I would say that's maybe first and foremost on the mind of Bulls fans as far as how this might affect the Bulls. But the other wrinkle there is that the name Larry Nance Jr. is one that Bulls fans were talking about a lot as a potential target if this Blazers team were going to hit the self-destruct button before the deadline and make all of their players available. Larry Nance Jr. is on the move, but it's not to Chicago. He's heading to New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that was the name. Like you said, Bulls fans were definitely foaming at the mouth over. even before he went to Portland, Bulls fans were trying to get Larry
Right.
Nance
When he
Jr.
was a part of
from
that
Cleveland.
three-way Lowry,
Yeah.
Markkanen, and sign and trade deal.
Yeah, trying to get him from Cleveland. So yeah, he's been on their minds. He would have been a good fit. We know where he would have fit. He would have been, quite nice coming off the Bulls bench. Would have been a nice little piece to have. A guy with his athleticism, with his shooting, with his defense as well. Is a good fit on this team. But I guess it just didn't work out for them. New Orleans came through, I guess, with the better offer. He's going to head down there. That sets up New Orleans kind of solidly, honestly. CJ McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., and Zion Williamson, along with Brandon Ingram, is a pretty solid damn team. And Devontae Graham as well. That's a pretty damn solid team. Tough in the West, but it's a solid team. So we'll see how it all works out.
Solid team, and maybe a little bit of an attempt to convince Zion, hey, we're making moves to try build
That's
something
not
here
enough.
with you.
That's
I
not
don't know if CJ McCollum is enough to really do that. No offense to CJ McCollum. And the other thing, man, I had forgotten until this trade went down, but I saw somebody mention it. Have you seen CJ McCollum's contract? Because
kind of ugly.
Damn.
Kind of ugly, man.
I mean, bring a decorator in here quick, because damn. I think escalating, I want to say, it's like escalating between 30 million and like 35 or 6 million over the next 3 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot. Like, dude, CJ McCollum is a great player.
He is.
But damn, that's a lot of money to pay CJ McCollum.
I mean, especially coming off the injury, the collapsed lung that he was dealing with. He's getting up there, in age. It feels like, these are moves that you make when you're in that, second phase of your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on your way to making, you might have one more stop in you, is what I mean. Like, you might have that one more stop where you get traded again to a team that's contending, you know what I'm saying, and get a shot at a title. But this feels like the second phase, to where, you're on an okay team, you can thrive because you're really good at basketball, but I don't know how it translates to wins just because of how competitive and how good the West is, and where New Orleans is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Zion, I don't even know what Zion is doing. To be real with you, I don't even know what's going on with him, man. So that's going to be a big issue as well. But yeah, that's the move that happened. I'm sure Bulls fans aren't happy about losing Larry Nance Jr. Bulls fans know one mode in these trade things, and that's if we didn't get it, we have failed. Failed miserably.
The do something meme is out in full force right now, Dave.
Oh
so McCollum is 30.8 million this season. 33.3 next season. And then 23-24 final year of his contract, 35.8 million. That's a lot of cheddar for CJ McCollum. I guess, like, the other wrinkle of this is, will the Blazers continue to just trade everything except for Damian Lillard? And I know some Bulls fans had heard, hey, maybe the Blazers are even willing to give up Yusuf Nurkic right now if the price is right. I'm here to tell you, no, there is not a Yusuf Nurkic deal that is bringing him to Chicago. That's just not happening. Not happening. They might decide to just really, really, really break everything down and rebuild everything around Dame.
Right.
But even if they are looking over the next 48 hours for a trade with Nurk somewhere, it ain't here.
Yeah, and you know what else I find interesting about this, Matt? That he doesn't go to a contending team, because during these trade times, that's usually what you hear. Everybody's in. You heard Philly. Of course, you heard the Lakers in this. You're always hearing those teams that just need a piece, and you expect them to make those moves.
Right.
This time it's New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, and I think that's a pretty big shock to the league that New Orleans is where this prize piece shows up and ends up at. Man, ends up with the Pelicans. Ends up with your boy GAR in effect. So that's just what it is, man.
Don't even spell it. Don't even spell it.
We're going to treat him like the bald head man. Okay, I got you. All right, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Fair.
Who I'm sure was somewhere clapping when Matt Thomas dove on the ground for that loose ball the other day and gave Ayo a freaking concussion.
You will not.
There you
You
go.
will not.
There you go.
You will not put Matty Legend in that category with that dude. I won't allow that to happen, Matt. That is not fair. I will take all
Oh.
criticism of him, but that's dirty pool, sir.
All right. We also have to talk about this crazy trade between the Pacers and Kings and any Bulls wrinkles there. Before we do that, though, Dave, tell the people about the Built Bars.
Oh, Bulls fans are freaking out. Bulls fans, you know what? You freaked out so much. You've been so upset. You spent so much time on the trade machine that you to have yourself something to eat. But then you say, man, I don't want to eat nothing bad. You know, I don't want to get all that in me. I don't need all that sugar. I don't need all that stuff. I got the remedy for you. Built Bar, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein, and all of them are covered in 100% real chocolate. Get you some of that low-calorie, high-protein goodness. Mint brownie, coconut almond, all this deliciousness, the raspberry. And Matt, can you please tell them what the flavor of the month will be, sir?
Banana cream pie.
Oh,
Ooh.
slap them in the face with it. Built.com. Promo code LOCKS15. Get yourself 15% off that order. That is 15% off your order using the promo code LOCK15 at Built.com. Built Bar. Get you something to eat.
All right. Another big trade went down on Tuesday. The Pacers are trading Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb to Sacramento for Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. Check that. Woj actually meant Justin Holiday when he typed Jeremy Lamb a second time. Lots going on here in this trade, Big Dave, but I think everybody's initial reaction is, did the Kings hire Vlade Divac back? Because holy crap, they got fleeced in this trade.
What is going on in Sacramento? You got rid of Sabonis, I hear it, all right? But a Lamb and a Holiday got you my man Buddy Love and Tyrese Haliburton. Haliburton was just the dude that you just knew was never going to be traded, at least not this year or even next year. You just knew it was going to be De'Aaron Fox who was going to be leaving, and they were just going to build around Haliburton and Davion Mitchell. You just knew it. It was like, this is what it's going to be. That's going to be their team of the future. Nope, they said, we're going to monkey wrench it. We're going to go ahead and say, forget it. They've been trying to get Buddy Hield traded for a while. You know, This isn't, I don't think it's surprising that Buddy Hield got traded, but it is surprising what he got traded for. That's what's shocking to me.
I think they were glad to get off of Buddy Hield's contract because I think that maybe they realized that was a contract that was not going to work out all that well for them as far as what they were getting for what they were paying.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you, and I think that's what most people feel, which is, how do you give up Haliburton? I mean, how?
Yeah,
if there's one piece that you were convinced that they were going to hold on to, it was that guy who they realized they stole. What did they take him overall? Like 9th or 10th or like somewhere in that range where you were still like, this guy could have been top 3 or certainly top 5. He's young. I mean, he's like just absolutely, blossoming with potential. And you trade him for a suboptimal all-star. And, look, Sabonis fitting in with some of these other pieces that they kept. I can see it. And, now the question begs, does this mean they're holding on to Harrison Barnes because they like combining Harrison Barnes and Sabonis and some of these other pieces that they have? Bulls fans who are thinking front court depth, the two names that are over there still that are intriguing are Rashawn Holmes, native, and Marvin Bagley, who they're trying to trade, who's been demanding a trade, et cetera, et cetera. And the guy they shipped over to Indiana, Mr. Tristan Thompson, and whether or not the Pacers are, in fact, interested and intend on keeping him, or if he might become a post-trade buyout candidate now. Those 3 names, Big Dave. Any thoughts?
Yeah. The one for me was the Tristan Thompson one because, I've been talking about him a lot on this show and any podcast I've been on. I just see the fit for him. So when I saw he went in the trade, my first thought was that looks like a buyout. And I don't know if it's going to happen. I asked Tony East, from Locked On Pacers, how he felt about it. He just wasn't sure what their next moves were. So, and also go check out Tony East on Locked On Pacers for the latest updates on this trade and following that stuff. And also my man Matt George over at Locked On Kings, because I'm sure he's losing his damn
Poor
mind.
Matt George.
My man is Matt losing his mind, dog. All right. But I'm sure they're happy in some senses. Maybe over in Sacramento, I mean, you get Sabonis. He was one of the prize pieces people wanted. You get him over there. Like you said, I don't know if they're going to combine him with Harrison Barnes or not, but putting him with De'Aaron Fox can't hurt. You know what I'm saying? It can't hurt at all doing something like that. But as far as the Bulls are concerned, yeah, man, like what is he, $9 million, Tristan Thompson? Something like that he's making. It just feels like that buyout. It just feels like that guy. It just doesn't feel like he's long for Indiana. It just doesn't feel like Tristan Thompson in Indiana is where it's going to be. Like, I just don't feel that fit right there. So that's going to be interesting to watch, I think, in the next few days coming up, if they make that move with him or not. Rashawn Holmes, Matt, like, that's going to be interesting too. I don't know what they want for him, but it seems like, I don't know, like, it didn't take a lot to get Tyrese Haliburton outside
right?
of,
That's why I was like, dude, Rashawn Holmes is unattainable because he's, a player in his prime, and I would say on a fairly team-friendly contract. I checked this morning. He's got 3 years and about 36 left on his contract.
Mhm.
After this season, he's still got 3 more for a combined $36 million.
Okay.
Not easy for the Bulls to bring that on, knowing that they've got Zach LaVine coming up. They've got,
Right.
a decision on Kobe White and a potential extension there. That's a lot of money to give yet another role player, because they're already paying Alex Caruso, a role player, a pretty good chunk of change, in addition to the Lonzo contract, the Vooch contract, the DeMar contract, et cetera, et cetera. The Bulls got a lot of money on the books. So that would be the question, is whether or not the Bulls front office wants to make that financial commitment for a role player like Holmes, and if they could sell it to ownership. Those are two key questions there. As far as Tristan Thompson, yeah, I think he's on the second year of a 2-year, 18 mil. So yeah, you're right. Like right around, so 9.7 this season. And so he's on an expiring deal. He'll be unrestricted free agent. Definitely buyout candidate. I'm just saying this. I've made my peace with LeVar Ball being in and around Chicago. I do not need a Kardashian family baby daddy associated with the Bulls. I don't need it. I don't want it. Get away. Stay away. That dude is on the front page of TMZ every other freaking day, Dave. I don't need it.
I understand that, and I hear your point. And it's usually my rule is I steer clear of a Kardashian when he's in play.
That family is poison,
rules.
straight poison. They're poisoning the minds of Americans.
You saying this.
What happened this week on your Kardashian? Gotta keep up. Gotta keep up with the Kardashians. Oh my God, gouge my eyes out with a freaking spoon. A rusty spoon.
Oh, he's having a day.
I'm having a day, Dave.
He's having a day. Oh, and I'm sure Locked On Bulls fans know this, Matt, very well.
No, you know what'll fix that? I'll just read on TMZ about which Kardashian sister Tristan Thompson knocked up this time. God.
Oh, yeah. Let it out, Matt. It's all right. Let it out. It's okay, man. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Here's the problem, Matt.
I'm struggling.
I know. Here's the problem. Beggars can't be choosy, man. We just can't be. We can't be choosy. We can't be. Like, we need help at that position. We need size. We need athleticism. We need defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need these things. He provides all of that. He really does. You need veteran help. You need somebody who can call out defenses and communicate like that. Like, that's what he does. Like, literally, that's what he does. So that's why I look at him as a guy who can really help the Chicago Bulls right now, like today, as far as their defense. He doesn't sure up all the problems, obviously, or anything like that, but he can improve it as far as the communication and as far as guarding the big guys inside, and giving guys like Tyler Cook, you don't have to see as much and put as much on his shoulders when you got a guy like Tristan Thompson out there. So, yeah, man, you kind of need this.
I think he falls in the category of candidates who you and I are on the same page of being more likely than the Bulls making a trade like the ones that we saw on Tuesday,
Right.
where
Correct.
several
Correct.
key names are switching teams.
Correct.
And you're talking about draft capital in addition to players moving from team to team.
Right.
You and I are in agreement in that the far more likely adjustment or tweak that AK and Eversley might make to this roster between now and Thursday it is a minor trade or even more likely than a minor trade buyout candidates.
Right.
So
right.
Thompson, if the Pacers do decide that that's what they want to do with him, would get lumped into that category. And then, along the similar lines, we saw a report on Tuesday that the Spurs are looking like they might be coming to an agreement on a buyout with our old pal Thaddeus Johnson, aka Thad Young. The key there,
hopes.
though, is that if the Spurs just agree to a buyout with him, the Bulls can't have him. They would need to trade him to a different team, and then that team would have to come to a buyout agreement with Thad in order for the Bulls to pick up the phone and call Thad Young. I would love to see Thad name in a Woj bomb that is involved in any trade to anywhere between now and Thursday afternoon. And then the follow-up tweet, such and such team plans on agreeing to a buyout with Thad Young. And then Zach LaVine will call up his buddy and be like, hey, man, come on back.
We could use that. We could use some, not just as the player. I'm just saying we could use some of that good mojo around here. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with all the injuries and things that we had. We could use some of that. So if you want to hold out that hope, Bulls fans, okay. It's a long shot for sure. No doubt about it. It's more likely that he gets bought out and then that's just the case of it. But it's a possibility that the trade could be made. And then the buyout could happen that way. And then we can, answer some of these questions. They can deal with it then. Because, I would love them, man. Now, we'd love to have them. I keep trying to tell Bulls, it's not that I'm against having Thad Young on the team. I want Thad Young on the team. I just don't see how it works out that way, that we get Thad Young because of the rules that are in place. That's all.
Right. Okay, so that's that. 2 big trades. We'll see if more big trades are on the way between now and Thursday afternoon. Before we get out of here, Dave, you wanted to touch on the most recent NBA Power rankings. And it was the ones from NBA.com, I believe, are the ones that you have a bone to pick with, perhaps?
Not a bone, but just I'm bothered a little bit. Just bothered a little bit. On the list, the Bulls are not in the top 10 of the rankings, which is understandable, which is fair. I don't like it. But, I get it. It makes logical sense. Their decline and their slide, 6-9 over their last 15. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Defense has been dead last over those past 15 games. We understand it, the decline. And even with Ayo getting injured, none of that helps. None of this is healthy and none of it helps. I believe they have them at 12 right about now. The Bulls are at 12. My issue with it is the team they have in front of the Chicago Bulls, and that is the Denver Nuggets. That's my issue right there. Like, I get it. The Bulls aren't playing well. They aren't doing those things. Get it. Fine. They're falling. Cool. The Denver Nuggets are 29-24. Like, how do you have that ahead of the Chicago Bulls, who are still, regardless of all the bad things and all the things that have happened and gone down like that, still a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference? Still a game from being number 2? Still a couple, a game and a half, Matt? Is that right? A game and a half from being out of first place? Am I right about this?
Correct.
What? What chance do they have from getting anywhere close to anything like that? Like, they're not catching Phoenix.
Denver is currently 14 games back of the number 1 seed Phoenix.
What are we doing here?
Phoenix has 43 wins. Miami leads the East with 35 right now.
I understand all of this. Then tell me about the second place team like they got going on with the Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like it's not like it's close. I mean, they're 6th. They're 6th in the West. And usually you would accept that in the past, Matt, because usually 6th in the West meant 3rd in the East. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that this year. 6th in the West is 6th in the West. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how that goes right now. Man, I just don't see how they have them higher than the Bulls, and they fell from where they had them ranked last. They were 7th, and then they fell to 11th. How they aren't below the team that is 3rd in the Eastern Conference, I just do not get. They are a half game out of second place. I just don't get that. That just is what doesn't make any sense to me. Don't tell me about Nikola Vucevic. I got DeMar DeRozan. All right. Don't tell me about that stuff. All right. So I don't get it. I just don't get it.
You mean Nikola Jokic? Like
I said
they have an MVP candidate and we don't, and you're saying, well, we do, and his name's DeMar DeRozan. That's what you're saying.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, fair, fine, whatever. In these last 15 games where the Bulls are 6-9, they are 23rd in net rating. 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
They're certainly not a top 10 team. I would be hard pressed to make the argument for the Bulls being a top 15 team in the NBA this week. Mm-hmm. This week, power rankings this week. Mm-hmm. I'm putting the Bulls somewhere around 20. Seriously.
Oh my goodness. So seriously. So you saying the Nets are better? Like, what? You can't do that. Like, dude, you're moving the Nets up if you do that, man. And then no, I can't accept that. You're moving the Nets up. They lost 8 in a row. You can take all your defensive ratings and other ratings. Losing is the one that they're doing, and you can't put losing ahead. You just can't do that. No, absolutely not. I won't accept that. Sorry. Nope. No.
I just and look, simultaneously, so those were NBA.com's rankings that had the Bulls 12th. Mm-hmm. ESPN's NBA Power Rankings that came out Monday had the Bulls 6th between the 3 best teams in the West and then Miami and Milwaukee. And I was like, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have
for all the yammering Bulls fans do about how disrespected they are by national media and mainstream media. They got this shorthanded joke of a Bulls squad right now, ranked 6th. We got guys catching bodies. We got guys in casts and wheelchairs. And oh, no, the Bulls are still the 6th best team in the NBA. Not right now, they aren't. That's a freaking joke. That is a 6th in the NBA. That is a joke.
Oh, yes.
They're closer to 26th than 6th right now.
Oh, that's a lie. No, man. No. I won't accept that either. But I do agree they shouldn't be 6th. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, man. But damn, dude, 26? Come on. I understand they're bad. I get this. We just saw them. I shouldn't even say bad. I shouldn't say that their defense is bad and they're playing bad because they're still outscoring opponents. All right. They're still putting them points on the board. They just don't have the defense to stop these guys yet, which is the only issue right now. It's not that they can't put the ball into the bucket. They can do that.
It's a pretty big freaking issue.
It's an issue. It's definitely an issue, Matt. It's not. They can still win. Is my point. They can still pull off victories with this issue that they have. I still got DeMar. I still got Zach. I still got Vooch. I can still put off victories in this league with those kind of 3 until everybody kind of gets back. I can still do that. I can still hold it down, Matt. They ain't lost 8 in a row. I hate that talk because it makes it seem like the Bulls have lost like 10 straight. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's playing. Like DeMar ain't starting in the freaking All-Star game. Like Zach LaVine is averaging 12 points. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it like get out of here with that. Like we got it. We struggling. We going through that. I feel that. That is the truth. The struggle is for real. But damn it, we are still 3rd. Damn it, we are still there. It's a game by game thing for me, man. That's the only way I can take this. I'm not gonna ride this out. Like this team is the Nets right now. Would you rather be the Bulls or the Nets? What you want to be? You want to look good losing? You know what I'm saying? Like, or you want to win ugly? What you want to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to win.
The Nets still have 3 dudes named KD, Kyrie, and Harden. I mean,
and Harden ain't even playing. They got one dude.
Harden. Has been dealing with whatever the most recent nagging injury is that's kept him out of it. He's not going to play in their game Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But some people are kind of, tossing some whispers around there that maybe it's because they are talking about our moving Harden. And meanwhile, there's that other report from The Athletic that was like, oh, Daryl Morey and the Sixers are convinced that Harden's not signing to stay in Brooklyn this summer. So Why don't you just send him our way now? Just say we'll take him off your hands for you and help you through this difficult time. Would you like a Ben Simmons? My God. Although, dude, Harden and Embiid,
monstrous.
Woo.
That could be a problem.
And then if Ben Simmons gets his mind right and it's committed, and then you got
problem
him with KD and Kyrie. Also, I just saw something about that Brooklyn and like New York City ordinance, whatever, might be considering lifting whatever rule that is right now that's prohibiting Kyrie from playing in their home games.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying, yes, they're on an 8-game losing streak right now, but anyone writing off the Nets right now is a freaking moron. I'll tell you that.
You got that
and
right.
I know that you are not a moron, Dave.
I'm not writing them off, man. We're talking about this week in the power rankings is where this discussion is right now. We're not talking about what they could be. We're talking about where they at in the power rankings. And right now, the Bulls ain't near the Nets. It's right now is what I'm saying. Net later on when they get healthy and all these other things, yeah, we understand what the Nets are. But remember, this 8-game losing streak is also taking place with Kyrie playing too. Kyrie and Harden were playing together. They still were losing. There's something going wrong with that team. You know what I'm saying? With that, like the chemistry just really ain't there right now for them. So they're going to get it together. The answer is Kevin Durant. The same as our answer with the Kevin defense Durant is Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball. It's still, these are the answers to the questions. We get that. But man, we ain't there, dog. We ain't 8 in a row bad. All right. We ain't that bad. Not 8 in a row.
Not a whole lot better, in my opinion.
Better.
Anyway, look at it. We're well past 40 minutes now because we're arguing about silly fun things like power rankings and whether or not the Brooklyn Nets are a trash team.
Argue with us. Argue with us. Wait, stop it. Stop it.
We gotta get out of here. If anything major happens with the Bulls, as far as the NBA trade deadline between now and Thursday afternoon, we will hop on and provide an emergency podcast episode for you guys. If nothing major breaks between now and tomorrow, well, look for our next episode in your feed tomorrow. In the meantime, you can chat with us on Twitter, whatever you want. I am at Bulls_Peck. Dave is at BAW, BAWL Sports. We are at Locked On Bulls. And send us text and voicemails to that number, 331-979-1369. That's Big Dave. I'm Matt. Whoosa.
Feel better?
See Red be good. Fucking Matt Thomas.